Candy 21. It's raining again, coming down in frigid torrent. John is a pallbearer this time. Teen Jade is so light, he and Jake alone carry the coffin with ease. Together, they trudge through the ankle-deep puddles while their friends line up on either side of the stone steps that lead into the cathedral. It's just them this time, Earthsea's very own dysfunctional collection of old gods. John can't say he misses the clangor of a shameless press hounding them from the edges of what is supposed to be a somber ceremony. But the smallness of the congregation under the tall Gothic ceiling makes Roxy's attitude at the pulpit all the more absurd. She leads John and Jake into the building and down the center of the nave, humming happily to herself the entire time. An equally effusive calliope trails behind her, carrying a bouquet of purple flowers. Despite Roxy's insistence that this sad event could only bring all of them closer together, the group is sitting in chilly segments on either side of the aisle, pointedly not interacting. Karkat is sitting all on his own, about 6 pews behind Jade and Dave. Gamzee is hanging out by the door, having been banished there by Jane like a wet dog. No one in the cathedral can blame her, because he certainly smells like one. Roxy, bathed in pink and gold light from the stained glass behind her, spreads her arms and begins to speechify. She practically has to shout to be heard over the roar of the rainstorm outside.
Thanks everyone for joining us today. We are gathered here to honor the memory of alternate universe Jade. Alas, we hardly knew her. By which I mean we didn't know her at all because she fell out of the sky like a week ago and was already dead. But I think that based on our long acquaintanceship with alive Jade, we can safely assume that she was totally rad. Ugh. So we're all here to contemplate the vast cruelness of the universe, that such radness was plucked in its prime. Psst, Callie, the roses.
Oh, of course.
Calliope begins plucking the petals off her bouquet and tossing them in a fluttery, uneven arc over Roxy's impressively coiffed hair. He'd spent the entire morning giving one more go at talking Roxy out of this entire affair, but she was stubbornly dedicated to her artistic vision. "You gave it the old college try, chap," Jake said to him earlier as he waxed his mustache in the mirror. "But it's better for a man to just let his wife do whatever she wants. I promise you'll experience less pain that way, old boy."
Purple roses traditionally represent love at first sight. However, these roses are actually red roses that we prepared using a blue dye. The blue rose is the most elusive and mysterious of all flowers. The combination of red and blue in this context is meant to evoke the dual nature of death, in that there is nothing more mysterious and impossible to comprehend than the vast void of the afterlife. But also, there is nothing that makes us appreciate the life and the love that we already have than the mystery of death. While death is terrifying, there is always joy to be found amongst the sorrow. Each time we witness death, we fall in love with the important people in our lives all over again.
Calliope is gazing at Roxy with glassy eyes. She sniffs as she plucks the last petal from her rose. A breeze washes through the cathedral from the crack in the door at the very end of the room, brushing the petal off course and causing it to get stuck in Roxy's oversprayed hair. Calliope reaches out with a visibly shaking hand to remove the plant offal, but she does not draw back. Instead, she lets her hand graze down the side of Roxy's face and cup her cheek. Roxy puts her own hand over Callie's and holds it. John tilts his head and squints at the image in front of him.
Whoa, Callie. That's a beautiful metaphor.
Oh, thank you, Roxy.
Don't sound so humble. It's Phoebe deep.
I just can't take credit for external inspiration.
Wow. Come on, Callie. You're the literal muse.
Yes, but you're
This very tender scene is cruelly interrupted by the sound of the cathedral doors slamming open. Everyone whips their heads around to see, of all people, Aradia hovering in the foyer. Her wings radiate a soft, ephemeral glow that paints the walls around her pink and red. Sollux is with her, feeling his way into the church along the grain of the door. He's soaked head to toe.
Oh no! Did we miss the entire corpse party? I hope not.
Yes, that would be such a tragedy.
Oh, shush you. The tragedy is what I don't want to miss.
Karkat jumps to his feet, eyes so wide they're practically popping out of his head.
Iradia? Holy shit, Sollux?
Hey, loser. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time? Is that all you had to say to me? It's been more than a fucking human decade. I thought you guys were dead.
No, I wasn't dead.
No, I mean like gone forever. I thought that you two literally didn't exist anymore. Or at the very least, were trapped in a dead universe perpetually collapsing into its own asshole.
Oh. Nope.
Fine. Waltz in here with no explanation whatsoever. Sounds about fucking right. It's not like your sudden and unexplained presence is any less of a joke than this funeral we're having. I mean, why stop at Sollux and Iradia? Maybe fucking Nepetta's about to pounce from behind that grotesque statue of the human sufferer T-posing over there. Nepetta, are you there? Come on out. The corpse party wouldn't be the same without you.
Shush, everyone. There will be reception with cake and candy after the service. You all can have your poignant reunions then. Before we unite in tearful togetherness, we gotta unite in tearful loss.
Wait, there's more? I thought that nice speech Callie made was like pretty much the funeral.
LOL. No. Callie and I were just getting started.
Oh my god.
Anyway, where was I?
How the infinite mystery of death makes us appreciate the love we have.
Right.
Roxy starts giving the second act of her eulogy. Iradia glides to the floor and sets her feet on the stone tiling, elfin and weightless. She sidles up to Gamzee and jostles him in the ribs.
So I see you managed to get out of the fridge.
I didn't just get out of the fridge. I was set free, sister.
I see.
When the door of that fridge popped open, it was like I'd be all seeing the light and shit.
Well, yeah. That's what happens when someone opens a door to a totally dark enclosure. Fuck. I can't believe you're still this stupid. Oh wait, I can.
No, brother. It's a motherfucking metaphor. A metaphor for the miracle of redemption.
Redemption?
Yeah, check it the fuck out. I did my motherfucking redemption arc.
Is that so?
I've been doing all kinds of good deeds at the lost motherfuckers. Preaching the holy word, making out with orphans.
Oh,
Isn't it kissing orphans?
Let him talk, Sollux.
I even got a healthy, mutually fulfilling kismesis going on with that foxy human broad up front.
Iradia turns to look in the direction of his lecherous ogle. She observes the bored-looking woman, who she recognizes to be Jane. Iradia looks her up and down and arches an eyebrow in approval.
It's so nice that you believe all that, Gamzee. I think I can honestly say I'm reasonably happy for you.
Oh my god. Quiet in the back already? We're trying to have a beautiful and solemn proceeding up here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do agree it's a beautiful corpse party. But I think it would be even more beautiful if we could, actually see the corpse.
Oh my god, Iradia, why are you still like this?
Roxy smacks herself in the forehead like this is the most obvious thing in the world. Of course, how could she forget the fucking corpse?
Oh, lol, you're right. I can't believe that slipped my mind. Hey, Jake, a little help? I'm like hella pregnant here, and I shouldn't be doing any heavy lifting.
Jake leaps from his seat, very enthusiastic to be freed from the ice-cold grip of Jane's perfectly manicured hand. He jumps onto the stage and begins unlatching the coffin while Calliope throws more rose petals for some reason. Living Jade slumps in her seat a bit, beginning to look green. Yo, babe, it's okay.
Easy for you to say. You've got practice with this kind of thing.
Just remember, it's not actually your corpse. I mean, technically it is. It both is and isn't your corpse at the same time. Which, yeah, the longer you think about it like that, the more fucked up it gets. But also, when you can objectively think about it, the combined multiverse is a huge tangle of interrelated but totally random events, and it's only chance that this specific life is the one you ended up living. You and that corpse could have just as easily switched places. But also, that would never actually happen because it's not how paradox space works. Anyway, my point is that nothing really matters, so chill out.
I love you with all my heart, Dave, but you're really not helping right now.
With a grunt, Jake pries at the coffin. The lid creaks open and hits the side of the pulpit with a loud crack. The noise reverberates through the entire cathedral, shaking dust off the unused pews and rattling the iron on the stained glass windows. Outside, a clap of thunder follows. Aradia vaults into the air and flits over the pews to get a better look at the body. Teen Jade remains in the bloody space outfit she crashed to Earth in, since nobody was willing to dislodge the huge otherworldly shard from her chest in order to change her. But Roxy has done the corpse's makeup beautifully and fashioned her a lovely flower crown. If not for all the blood caked down her front and her conspicuous impalement, she'd look like she was merely sleeping.
Now this is more like it.
I can't look.
Oh, here. Dave slings an arm around her shoulders. She starts to snuggle in, but Dave is absolutely not initiating physical contact here for the purpose of getting his cuddle on. Instead of cradling Jade in his arms, he uses his hands to cover her eyes.
What are you doing?
Emotional support, yo.
Dave.
What? I'd like to see you do better.
Me too, actually. I'm sorry, but I'm not the one whose questionable consolation tactics are on trial here.
This isn't a trial, it's a funeral.
They've got a point, Rose. You gotta admit.
A point about what?
You're not great at consolation. Just saying.
Oh, you don't know the half of it.
Excuse all of you, but I am an excellent advice giver.
Nobody said anything about advice giving, Rose.
Oh yeah, the advice is top-notch. But you're kind of a weird person to, like, cry in front of. No offense.
What?
The first time I ever got upset in front of Rose IRL, she put her arms around me and it was so awkward that I had to ask her if she was hugging me or reaching for something on the shelf behind me.
Everyone, we're getting rather off track.
I was doing both, for your information.
The first time Rose hugged me, it was such a disaster we didn't make eye contact for like a week after.
Jade, come here. I shall hold you in my arms.
Thank you, Kanaya. At least one of you knows how to treat a lady in distress.
Agreed. I've always felt that Kanaya's done an exemplary job of providing a model for compassionate, empathetic behavior, which others of her kind would do well to follow.
What the fuck did you just say?
I'm sorry, Mr. Vantus. Do you have another unsolicited political opinion you'd like to share with everyone?
Considering the shit geyser that just shot out of your ignorance cannon, I'd say my opinion is pretty fucking solicited right about now.
Everyone, be quiet!
Calliope yells so loud that her voice becomes a hollow, howling shriek. The glass in the candelabras above her shatters, snuffing out the candles and filling the choir with blue smoke. She gasps and covers her mouth with both hands, shrinking beneath the startled look she's receiving from the rest of the funeral goers. Slowly, she lowers her arms, staring at her hands in shock. This time, she whispers.
Please. Roxy gathered you all here for a reason. At least listen until the end. After that, you can argue all you want.
Roxy comes back to the pulpit and wraps an arm around Calliope's shoulders.
Look, everyone. I'm not dumb, okay? Even though I act like it sometimes. I know what's going on here. That we're all drifting apart. And I know that's just a normal part of growing up and making new families. And I guess learning that some people have unbridgeable divides on political stuff. I can accept that things aren't gonna always be the same as when we first met. especially with Dirk gone. Damn. Even though it's been more than a year, I still feel like he died yesterday. What Callie said earlier about death being mysterious and full of love is true. I don't know if I ever would have gotten up the courage to marry John if Dirk hadn't died. Sometimes I think about what it would have been like if he was still here. I think we can all agree that if Dirk didn't kill himself, there would be some big differences in the lives of people here in this room. I can't say if they'd be good or bad. Maybe when it comes to this kind of thing, like infinite probability in multiple universes and shit, good and bad don't matter. There's no better or worse, just different. Even with dead Jade here, who's to say that the world she came from was actually worse than ours? She probably died a heroic death doing something incredible. We probably only have the great lives we do right now because of her sacrifice. The universal odds of us all being alive and healthy and together like this are so infinitesimally low that it's literally impossible for us to understand with our limited linear consciousness. Isn't that amazing? So even if this is the last time we're all ever in the same room like this, I think it's just incredible we could be here in the first place. Out of a sempiternal number of possibilities, we are the only incarnation of this exact specific moment in all of existence. I think that we should all look around and be super grateful for whoa, fuck.
Roxy's voice starts to crack. She staggers off the podium, clutching her bloated stomach.
Roxy? Are you okay?
Of course I'm not okay! I just went into freaking labor!
Oh my god!
John scrambles to his feet.
It's happening! Oh my god! Oh my god! It's happening! Oh my god! Oh my god!
OMG, John. Are you just gonna keep shouting, oh my god, or are you gonna help your wifey out?
Oh my god!
John stumbles up the stairs to the pulpit, holding his head in both hands. It's actually Jake, still dutifully standing next to the corpse, who catches Roxy under the armpits when she topples backwards. He passes her off to John, who whips up a cushion of wind for her to recline on.
Doing okay there, sweetheart?
Ugh. Why'd I let you put this thing inside me?
Don't worry, Roxy. We'll get it out as soon as we can. Or by it, I mean our child. We probably shouldn't be talking about him in dehumanizing terms before he's even born, huh? Seems like kind of a bad omen.
OMG. John, shut up. I need like 6 gallons of Demerol. Stat, let's go.
Right, going.
John swoops his wife up in his arms and starts scrambling down the aisle.
Wait, I would like to be there as well.
Hurry up then!
Calliope begins sprinting after John and Roxy, but doesn't make it 2 steps before something stops her in her tracks. A feeling that crawls under her exoskeleton. She stands deathly still for a moment, and then turns to face the coffin. Something about the corpse has transfixed her. She curls her fingers around the rim of the casket and leans in, studying teen Jade's peaceful face. Suddenly the corpse bolts upright. Calliope yelps and falls on her butt. Adult Jade screams.
By Jove!
Jesus fuck! Hair veiling her face, teen Jade sets her hands on her chest and dissolves the shard bisecting her rib cage. The wound does not heal, but it doesn't bleed either.
Jade! You're alive! Or, you're not dead.
It takes the corpse a while to reply. Everyone waits for her to speak. When the words leave her mouth, they send a chill through the cathedral air.
I am not Jade.
Slowly, Jade raises her head. The stage makeup Roxy applied earlier is running down her face in dark rivers. Her eyes are solid black. Even more than black, it seems. They are hollows penetrating deep into the field of absence so profound it's hard to imagine a single photon has ever crossed through its infinite expanse. Meeting her gaze is like peering into a realm where light goes to die. Calliope finds the sensation disturbingly familiar.
Then, who are you?
You know who I am, Calliope. We met once, years ago. You were dead. And so was I.
Calliope now understands exactly who is speaking to her. She tenses up and scuttles backwards, and begins tumbling down the stairs into the aisle. She starts running before she's even up on both feet, clawing the carpet ragged in her desperation to escape the cathedral. The congregation watches her go, but no one moves to help her, or even looks in her direction. In her wake, she leaves a primal, echoing wail. The door closes thunderously behind her. Her scream can be heard beyond the doors, growing quieter as she recedes into the distance. Kanaya adjusts the buttons on her fashionable morning gloves and sighs.
This certainly is a turn of events.
I'll say. At first, I was underwhelmed with the proceedings, I have to admit. But that was quite the twist. This may be one of the best death-related celebrations I've ever seen.
Top 5 at least. Teen Jade floats out of her coffin with a measured grace. Adult Jade shudders as her reanimated duplicate passes by. She slides back into Kanaya's comforting arms and hides her face in the crook of her neck. Teen Jade directs her pitch-black eyes toward the arched marble ceiling and gazes skyward with a sort of intensity and purpose nobody in this crowd has seen in years. It's as if her glare is passing through the roof of the church and continuing unimpeded through the partitions of this very plane of reality itself.
You're undoubtedly surprised, but these events were not unpredictable at all. This is exactly what I have been expecting to happen.
She spreads her arms and speaks in a voice as deep and dark as the void.
And while I cannot say the same thing for the rest of you, I, at least, am exactly where I am meant to be.
Jake meekly raises his hand, now treating the botched funeral as something closer to a classroom setting.
Hey, not to come off as a total idiot here, but who were you supposed to be again?
She directs the powerful vacuum of her hollow glare towards the total idiot. She regards him for a moment, radiating a sense of disdain for what may very well be the greatest living source of ignorance she has ever encountered in her many eons of existence.
My name is Calliope. I am the muse of space, and I have entered this body to protect your world.